and I'm from the Japanese American Citizens League. And I am honored to stand before you today. And I just have to say that I will not be performing any dance moves. But wow, they're so beautiful. I have a little history lesson for you today. In 1 month, on February 19th, it will be the 75th anniversary of the Executive Order 9066, first placing a curfew, then incarcerating over 110,000 Japanese Americans. This was a mass removal of people of Japanese ancestry in one of the darkest chapters in our U.S. history. Japanese immigrants and their American-born children from the West Coast were ordered to evacuate their homes and businesses between 1942 and 1945 and were relocated to internment camps in remote, desolate areas surrounded by barbed wires and guards and watchtowers. They lost their livelihoods and property in the process. The first generation, the Issei, were not American citizens, as they were not allowed to be. They were held in prison camps for 4 years, simply because of their race. Many of the men who were considered leaders in their communities, such as Buddhist priests, were rounded up and put into special camps, considered enemy aliens. 2 of these camps were right here in New Mexico. Then, the U.S. Army went into these camps where young Japanese Americans were imprisoned to recruit them to fight in World War II in the European front. 800 young men who joined the 442nd All-Japanese Regiment lost their lives in an attempt to rescue 200 white American soldiers who were surrounded by German troops. An all too familiar story in U.S. history about the value of lives, of white lives, over that of yellow, red, black, or brown. This regiment was awarded over 9,000 Purple Hearts, 4,000 Bronze Stars, and 21 Medals of Honor. Many of these men felt that they were used as cannon fodder. Carl Higbee of Trump's transition team has said that Japanese internment is a precedent for creating a Muslim registry. No, it is not a precedent. It is a shameful chapter in our U.S. history, and we must not allow this kind of mass incarceration to ever occur again. The Patriot Act, signed into law in 2001, has a provision that anyone suspected of disloyalty can be apprehended and detained indefinitely. I had an aunt, Kate Ariki, who was interned in a concentration camp in Idaho. She was a Republican. And I remember in the 1990s when the first Gulf War started and the talk began of a Muslim registry, she said, "We cannot let this happen again." Sadly, this could not be more relevant today. In the 1980s, the Japanese American community banded together in a redress and reparations campaign, culminating in an apology and monetary address to the survivors. Kathy Masayoka of the Redress Committee said, "We feel very much that Muslims are experiencing the same kind of discrimination and scapegoating that our community did. We are deeply saddened that this piece of history is so relevant today. We stand as a community, loudly and proudly, against any form of registering or incarcerating people on the basis of their race, religion, or national origin.